Hi friends, I'm Chandrasekhar from Pyramid Valley International, Bangalore. Pyramid Valley is the one of the most wonderful international meditation centers with its soul being the mega Maitreya Buddha pyramid. So we have here a very distinguished guest with us today, Dr. Kavitha Gupta, Additional Chief Secretary for Maharashtra State Government. And Dr. Kavitha Gupta is been into the spiritual practices for over 40 years, and she has held several roles prior to this current. She has been Textile Commissioner of India, and she was additional DG for foreign trade in the Ministry of Commerce, and then she also held positions as Principal Secretary for Labor, Government of Maharashtra, and she's academically been also very had distinguished things in where she has done 4 masters and then a PhD. So what not, we have such a powerful distinguished guest, someone who has a lot of academic and then huge contribution to in the Indian government while also parallelly pursuing spiritual practices. So very thank you to have you with us, Dr. Kavitha Gupta ji, and we are honored to have your time. And then we'll start with would like to so in your role, clearly this is a very highly responsible and then I'm sure highly pressurized role, where you will be dealing at a government of a government, state governments, and then Ministry of Commerce and all that. So how do you, and you said that you've been into meditation and various practices for over 40 years. So could you tell a little bit about yourself in your journey of spirituality, how you've been, about yourself completely to our viewers?
Friends, it's a great honor for me to be here in the Pyramid Valley, and it has been quite a coincidence my coming here, because this visit was not really planned. I was in fact going to Hyderabad, and then I was suggested to come to Pyramid Valley, and Patriji was here. So I thought it would be an extremely good opportunity for me to be here in Pyramid Valley, to meet Patriji, take his blessings, because I personally feel that blessings of masters is very important for your spiritual journey. To start with, my spiritual journey started at a very young age, when I started getting very much inclined towards the story of Buddha was extremely inspiring for me, and I that time at a very young age wanted to leave everything and take sannyas and go to the forest and to do meditation like Buddha had done. So I was strongly inclined towards it. Then over the years, I even thought of I left the home and I went for sannyas, but somehow I returned back, and then I have gone through various schools of spirituality. I was also one of the founding members of Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, the Japanese form of Buddhism. Then I also, after that, went into a study of Bhagavad Gita, into Patanjali Yoga Shastra, and then I also briefly got interested in learning Christianity, and after that I was also practicing the Kriya Yoga of YSS, Paramahansa Yoganand Krishna the Kriya Yoga, and then after that I was briefly also practicing Islam.
I see.
So because I'm married to a Muslim, so I was briefly also into that practice, and I have done Umrah, and this thing I visited Makkah Sharif also.
Okay.
So after that I kind of got introduced to Vipassana also, and after the Vipassana practice I also got introduced to the heartfulness meditation. So right now I'm a meditation teacher, what they call preceptors of heartfulness. I am one of the preceptor of heartfulness, that is the Sri Ramchandra Mission,
Yes.
which is having its headquarters in Hyderabad right now.
Daji.
Daji,
Yes.
yes. So Daji is my master, and then during the course of this entire spiritual journey, which is quite varied and diversified, I came in touch with the past life regression, and I did my workshop with Dr. Newton on past life regression, which again I found extremely powerful as a technique, both spiritually and as a healing practice. And that is when I heard about Patriji, and I had the privilege of meeting Patriji coincidentally. So maybe also because I am in this particular position, it helps. So I was able to meet Patriji during my last visit, and then ever since I have been also seeking his blessings. And very coincidentally, friends, I must tell you that in one of my past life regressions, I did see Patriji, and I did see him in a very, very vibrant and glowing kind of a light. And I saw that I was in the Roman kind of a era, and I or an Egyptian wearing those garments, and I ascended up to him and I merged with him.
I see. That's a wonderful experience, madam. It's
When
great.
I in fact met Patriji at the airport, I had gone to meet him over there, and he came out of the airport. He said, "Did you recognize me?" And I said, "Yes, of course I recognized you. I had seen you in my past life regression."
Wow.
So that was a very, very beautiful kind of a thing. And ever since I've met him, I had this kind of a very powerful thing that I must seek his blessings and meet him again. And that is how I'm here today. And I'm seeing this beautiful Pyramid Valley and all the creation which has gone into it. It is marvelous. I would also like to say over here that there is a small kind of a project which we are also thinking of having, of a spiritual university somewhere in the north. And there I think all the various religions and all the spiritual practices and all the labs will come together. And a small lab, a similar kind of a lab which I was conceptualizing, I saw in Pyramid Valley. Right. So it is synchronicity.
It is perfect synchronicity
yes.
here.
And it is a beautiful experience.
Beautiful experience, madam.
Yes.
So there are 3-4 things that you talked about. Is this the first thing is I have to congratulate. It's amazing to see that you have literally experienced so many. You seem to have gone through so many different practices
yes.
to experience. Then you talked about, I mean, it's so dear to me that, and then the experience about your past life regression where you've seen Patriji and Patriji also, without
yes.
knowing about it, validating it, right?
Yes.
So let's talk through that a little bit. And then last you said you have a project, right? So let me come back to the first aspect, Dr. Kavitha ji. So you have seen various practices.
Yes.
In all of that, if you have to say the essence to our viewers, what do you see? What do you see in that, and then in the essence of everything that you've been meeting? And
the essence of every practice is one single thing, and that is the supremacy of the ultimate one reality, and that is God. Like in Islam, they say La ilaha illallah, which means there is nothing except Him. There is nothing absolutely. La ilaha. There is nothing except Him. And that is what our Hindu philosophy also says, that He is the only reality and everything else is an illusion, it is Maya, it does not exist. So it is the primary reality. In heartfulness meditation or the Sri Ramchandra Mission, we say when we pray, Thou art the only real goal of human life. That means there can be no other goal. There is nothing else. Every wish and desire is but a bar to an advancement. And we seek His grace to even reach to Him. So we cannot do it ourselves. We require His grace to reach up to Him. So every religion, every philosophy, even Christianity says that it is the Father. It is the Father and His love, and through His Son that we are able to reach Him. So we walk with Him. We walk with our Lord. So every religion says the same thing.
Yes.
That it is God and God and God and God alone, and it is neti, neti, neti. That means why we cannot comprehend Him. We cannot define Him. We are not programmed to understand Him. And that is where meditation is the only practice where some way we find some kind of a connection or relation to Him. So this is what I have experienced and I have found.
Wonderfully said, ma'am. So in pyramid spiritual societies, we talk about spiritual science, which is simply deciphered into three simple statements. We are not the body, we say we are the soul.
Right.
And we have infinite potential as the God in us, and then we can activate that potential through our thoughts, and we create our reality through these thoughts and through our thoughts.
Right.
Or we activate the potential through our thoughts and feelings. Now, and when you said meditation helps you to connect to that God or that infinite source,
yes,
somewhere along, right?
Yes.
So it clearly says that, okay, there is so much out there, there is infinite out there, and meditation is a way to connect and then learn and activate part of that.
Yes.
Right? So I think that's
Yes.
the essence, and which
Yes.
is precisely what
Yes.
Patriji is. We all have learned from Patriji, and I think is beautifully said. And so now I just wanted to ask you a little bit around the techniques, since you've been doing
Yes.
various techniques, right?
Yes.
So have you noticed everything has got a place, no doubt, right? So we all understand every technique has a place. And so how do you find your interactions with Patriji or the meditation, Anapanasati meditation that we are doing? Simple versus do you suggest anything for our viewers in?
Well, the breath is definitely one of the most potent forces. I'm, by the way, also writing a novel. So there I have said that just like the umbilical cord is the security rope between the womb and the mother. The breath is the security rope between the Atma and the Paramatma. So that is where the connection comes between the soul and the ultimate reality. It is that connection which ties us with Him. So the breath is the Anapanasati technique of Patriji, which if we focus, it automatically brings our mind into some kind of ekagrita or focus. And I won't say concentration, but I will say focus. So in this focused way, when we go deep into our subconscious and in our inner consciousness, that is where when we see the whole universe unfolding itself with all its mysteries. And in this unfolding of the universe, we are able to connect to the very, very higher essence or the supreme being, which is the ultimate consciousness, the chitta or the super chit, and that is the connection which gets established through Anapanasati deep down through our consciousness, subconsciousness, superconsciousness, and the ultimate consciousness. So this technique of Patriji is extremely powerful. And that is also one of the reasons why there are so many people whom he has been able to make a difference in their lives with this technique. It's a simple technique, but it's a very, very powerful technique, and he has made masters. So I congratulate, in fact, all his people whom he called masters. So it
Absolutely.
is one guru who says everybody is a master.
How how is your typical day in in terms of your meditation practice, and how do you start your day, and then how do you utilize this in your daily life? I would like to know some of your experiences of
Right.
meditations in your life, and then you're dealing with your work and things.
Right. Typically, the time of my day is very much constrained because of the work pressure. And I have been working about 12 to 14 hours every day. So, because I feel, and that is how I started, that Karma Yoga is also something which is what the Lord has taught us in Bhagavad Gita, that amongst the three yogas, Bhakti Yoga and Jnani Yoga and Karma Yoga is one of the most important ones which he has said. And that is for an ordinary person, that he can do Karma Yoga. And the beauty of the Karma Yoga is that if you are doing your karma and you are attached to the results, then it is not Karma Yoga. So you may be working for 12 to 14 hours and you are attached to the results, then you lose the entire effect of it, or the benefit of it. But if you are not attached to the results, then you get a lot of benefit out of it. So for me, my work has been a tapasya, it has been a yoga, it has been something which I have been trying to do it in a manner that I can reach out something to the maximum number of people. And I have got that opportunity by virtue of a strategic position, that I can interface with the people in a very meaningful manner. So every time anybody comes to thank me, I in fact feel that I should be thanking that person to allow me to do something which can have an impact for him or her. So I have in administration done very innovative experiments and successful experiments. So I had mobilized self-help groups in Maharashtra, and through the government organization, which was a Women's Development Corporation. So that became a model for the whole of the country.
I see.
And now we have in Maharashtra alone, we have about 1 lakh self-help groups. And every woman in that group has crossed the poverty line.
Oh, wonderful.
So they have got a kitty of nearly about 100 crores. So it is a tremendous kind of a satisfaction that the experiment which I started way back in 92 has reached to a very high level.
Very high level.
It was acknowledged by the World Bank. It was acknowledged internationally as a very good model. The Sahyognis whom I had recruited, they became convergence points for all international programs in Maharashtra. Another very important program which I had done way back was also my district, that is Wardha, was the first district in the country to become fully literate. So I had conducted this total literacy campaign in this Wardha district, which was again acknowledged and felicitated by the UNESCO Secretary General. I had also at that time, in 1990 I'm saying, I had conceptualized value education and creative education in the schools. So that again became a foundation of bringing this value education and creative education later on. This was again replicated in many parts of the country. And here again, the interesting thing which I had done is I had told the teachers, the primary school teachers, that if you open the book, you will be suspended. Okay. So the opening of the books were banned.
Okay.
I had said you cannot teach by opening the books.
I see.
So that was a creative education. I said, if value has to be inculcated, it has to be inculcated through your example.
I see.
Each teacher, we had about 3,000 teachers in Vartha. I had made each teacher a role model. And and creative education means we had these teaching tools, which were like by way of cards, or by way of role plays, or snake and ladder games, in which through the snakes and ladders, important lessons were being taught, like history lessons, that what was done by whom, and it was a ladder, and what was done by whom, and it became a snake. So these kind of things, games were used to teach lessons and books. And as a result of all this thing, the dropout rate came down to 5% from earlier 40%.
Amazing. Okay.
So the retention level, that means, was 95%, and the pass percentage crossed 93%. And all these things were validated by the Tata Institute of Social Sciences. They had come and they had evaluated the total literacy campaign as an independent evaluation and validation of it. They had also come and validated this value education and its impact, the creative education and its impact on education and on students and teachers. Teachers started coming to the schools. Earlier there was some absenteeism which was happening because the whole thing had become interesting. So everybody wanted to go there.
So can we say that through your meditation practices,
yes,
you were able to be bold enough to introduce these new ways, and then
yes.
you also visualized, and then you brought these huge success projects, right? The self-help project,
yes.
or an internationally recognized project.
Yes.
So was that how it was helping you to
yes.
introduce them?
Yes.
And were you also introducing meditation or any of these practices to the women and the children in those projects?
So I would say that my individual practice definitely gave me an intuitive opening into the possibilities, and it did allow me to think in a out of the box manner and create certain models which were not there earlier. So like in another district, I tapped the aquifers using satellite imagery and then put underground bandaras in Jalna district. So there also we were able to solve the drinking water problem. There was no tanker which was required. And later on also as Principal Secretary Labour, I was able to introduce for organized labor management system, which was a win-win situation both for the labor and the industry. So both were very happy because online license were being given, and unorganized labor like construction labor and all the other people whom people have not been able to kind of access, they were given the payment or the wages through the banks. So definitely the spiritual practices do help in opening up the intuitive energies, in bringing up models, giving the courage to implement it, and also the divine grace to see it succeed. So all these things are definitely there. At that point of time, since I was dealing with the poor women, I had not, or with the unorganized labor, some of them I was not directly even looking at or speaking to. And it is only now when I talk to Patriji, I learn the important lesson that whenever you meet someone, just make him meditate.
Yeah.
Just make him sit and meditate. So this was one of the few questions which I had also asked Patriji when I had met him first, that how do I introduce meditation? And he said, just tell them to sit, observe the breath, and meditate. That's it. Can you not do that much? And then when I saw the kind of momentum which he has created at the village level, at the grassroots level, and by introducing this simple method, people have started meditating and they have transformed their lives. Their lives are no longer what they were earlier. They are different people and they have different kind of relationship within the family, a different kind of a work, how they approach their work, a different level of commitment which they have to life itself. So these are the things which Patriji has done so simply and so beautifully. And I only wish I had met him much earlier. Maybe I would have had a greater impact in terms of spirituality in their lives.
Sure, madam. So this is wonderful. I think we all learned this simple meditation and then so easily can be taught.
Yes.
And then you said there are 3,000 role model teachers for creative education. You know, if only we can go back and introduce them, it is a great wish to be able to go back and introduce to them.
Yes.
And with your support,
yes,
we will absolutely want to go back. We have the Pyramid Academy with something that can easily introduce it in a scale.
Yes.
Right. So these are things that can be definitely done.
Yes.
With your support.
Yes. So definitely, I would like to say that in all my future, wherever I am, I would definitely be very privileged to associate with the Pyramid Valley and have your contributions and Patriji's blessings on it, even though he doesn't believe in blessings. But I will still ask for his blessings, both in my individual journey and for everyone. So the masters are always magnanimous and they always give the blessings. So that will be forthcoming, and I think there will be a different level of spirituality or the collective consciousness which is emerging with everybody coming into this kind of a state or a frequency which is much higher than the frequencies which we were earlier familiar with. And with this higher frequency and higher intuition and opening of so many things within ourselves and outside, I think a different reality awaits us beautifully.
Absolutely. So you talked about a project that you wanted to start. So could you tell a little bit more?
Yes. So we often feel that different religions are different. And it is a very unfortunate thing that we limit ourselves into the ritualistic or the manifest aspects of religion. That if somebody is doing ritual prayers in the temple is different from a person who's doing namaz, or is different from a person who's chanting in a monastery. So we think they are different religions. But unfortunately, all of them are exactly the same, because it is the same pursuit which everybody is in fact following, and everybody is looking for the same thing, and they all know that it is within them, and that is why they feel so passionate about it. And maybe everybody thinks this is the way and I found it, so everybody else should experience. So there is love in it. Actually, there is love in it. That people are wanting to celebrate their religion because they feel this is the thing and I have found something which everybody else should also do. So unfortunately, I also feel that it is not religion which is fighting amongst itself or with each other. It is certain anti-social elements which take the advantage of this diversity and try to create their own kind of interest into it. So it is which I have always said, even as a collector, I said that, even otherwise I say to people I meet, that I don't find any difference in different religions. So when the whole model of spiritual university which we are evolving, we are planning to have a brief introduction into all religions. So it is a spiritual university which will encompass everything. So it is not one school it will talk about, it will be different schools, because there are different approaches to the same thing. So we will have Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, the traditional Sanatan Hinduism, the more liberal Hinduism, the Jainism, Judaism, Zoroastrian religion, every possible Sikhism, every possible religion will get a small kind of a exposure in it. After that, we will start into the meditation practice. And in this meditation practice, then we will introduce them briefly into various meditation practice, and then a sadhak is free to select any particular meditation practice, whichever he feels he would like to go into. Because each one may have his own inspiration. So it could be the pyramid science meditation, or it could be the heartfulness way, the mindfulness way, or it could be the past life regression techniques to go into meditation, or it could be any other. And then the third level will be also, we would be also introducing healing sciences, so that alternative methods are introduced. In this spiritual university, I'm also planning, or I'm also conceptualizing that there would be some introduction of the relationship of man and nature, because environment is very, very important, and earth is also a divine energy, force field in itself. So the preservation of earth is also going to be very, very important. So that would also be a subject which will be there. So ultimately the essence which will be there is that everything will be there. And then we will have labs like you have in Pyramid Valley,
Yes.
Where we would relate the progress of spirituality with your methods of gauging or calibrating that, in the sense that it becomes more documented kind of a forum to see and validate the experiences, and also reach it to the scientific community, so that once there is a validation, then today that also holds a great value, because then people start believing it more. So then we would also have methods of taking them into various stages of spirituality, what happenings when there is a spiritual awakening, because again, to adjust to that spiritual awakening and to be able to, you have to control that. You have to have a guru. That is why in our tradition we have a guru. If you do spiritual practice without a guru, there could be dangers. So a guru is very, very important, because he modulates your progress. He's there to all the time see that you don't fall. So this is the thing which we would also be leading people into it. Ultimately, from the spiritual academy or the thing, it is not the degree which will be important. Yeah. It would be the enlightenment which happens. And as we were discussing today, enlightenment is not one moment. Enlightenment is a process. So every moment is a miracle. Every moment of life is miraculous. And every moment can be a moment of enlightenment. Because each time, I feel ultimately the most difficult thing is to conquer your ego. And this ego slowly erodes but resurfaces again and again. So this is the thing which we have to ultimately see, that how we are able to level it off, so that ultimately our state of purity is the same state of purity of God, which is Shunya or love. So we have to become as loving, as it has to be without discrimination. The love has to flow. So it should not be a love which has boundaries, that this is my family, or this is my religion, or this is my community, or this is my nation. It is a love which flows to the whole universe and beyond the universe. With it flows compassion, a universal compassion. And with this, both these things, you ultimately get into that state of full purity, which means you become shunya.
Yes.
So that is what the ultimate aim of the spiritual university will be, to lead you to shunya and the shunya.
That's great,
Yes.
Madam Dr. Kavitha ji. So your vision, Chanakya said, to be successful, three things. I think one is passion and enthusiasm, and so you have plenty of that. You can clearly see it. You spoke uninterrupted for last 15 minutes. Second, empowered. So you are highly empowered to make it happen in the right place. And then you also touched upon having the right mentor and guru to be able to really take the direction. I think, I'm sure you talked about synchronicity. So you met Patriji in your past life experiences.
Yes.
And then the recognitions and all that. So I'm sure you have the right mentors to, and then with all of these three, I'm sure you'll be very, very successful in this project. And wish you all the best on that. And then before we close, I would like to say to your feedback and things about Pyramid Valley, then how you experience, and then how do you find to our viewers about Pyramid Valley.
Right. So I had the privilege of seeing the Pyramid Valley today. This is my first time that I have visited it. And I was, in fact, even before I entered the Pyramid Valley, just before we started embarking into that journey of reaching the Spirit Valley, about say 5 or 6 kilometers, I could see the trees started taking a different shape and the colors became more vibrant. So this time of the year we had gulmohar, trees with very beautiful red color, and the whole way was green and red and beautiful. So it was something which you could sense that there's a huge vibration coming in. And then I had this great enthusiasm of meeting Patriji. And I also knew that he was waiting for me. I could sense it and feel it. Then when I entered the Pyramid Valley, I found it so beautiful. Then I was not wanting to leave the side of Patriji. But then when he rested, I said, okay, now I'll go and see the Pyramid Valley. And when I saw it, each time a new chapter used to open. When I went into even simple things, like when I went and I was shown by Shalini and Chandu the dining hall. So there vegetables are stored and there's a pyramid on top. And they said the energy of the pyramid is which gives the vegetables a different, a different energy.
Yeah.
And then I recollected the food which I had with Patriji. I told him also, and I told Patri Madam also, that it is divine. The food is divine. So it tastes different. We have eaten the same thing, but it's different. And maybe it is the power of meditation and that spiritual power which comes into the food. Then when I went onwards to other place where you have the discourse halls, and discourses are conducted, and each one supported with this pyramid on the top. Then I had entered into one of the discourse halls where Shalini told me that it was the Kriya Yoga lessons and discourses are held over there. Yes. Again, I could feel a different sense of energy over there. Then we went to the lab, and we saw the different kind of apparatus and different kind of scientific techniques and different ways of healing which were there. And it was phenomenal. So the time was short, but I hardly, like even the sound technique, I just lay on the table for 2 minutes. But it was a different opening which I found, that it was there. Then there was this beautiful pyramid which was made by that American person,
right,
with crystals and all that. And I just briefly sat there for half a minute, but I could feel the energy. And the various apparatus which were there. So they were all having a story. and so beautifully it was intricately weaving into each other, and it was evolving into a different level. So I felt that it is something so beautiful, and that is something what we would also like to have it in our spiritual university. So I asked them that we be able to replicate this, because we would like to have everything like that. And then when I came here, I went into the pyramid, and I felt the vibrations. Again, time was short, so I could be there for a very brief period. So I just sat for 5 minutes, but it was a different kind of experience. And then I went to the bookstore here. And here, the books which I saw, I said, this is the books I was always wanting to read.
Okay.
So there was such beautiful kind of collection of books in the bookstore. And then again, the library space here. So each thing, and then the plants spoke, and the flowers spoke over here, and the beautiful, you have the murti of Buddha, whom you probably call chocolate Buddha, Chok Buddha, because it's so vibrant and it's so youthful. It's so beautiful. So everything over here was remarkably, and is remarkably, a different dimension, a different level. So I think it's Patriji's presence and his blessings which makes all the difference.
Absolutely, ma'am. Thank you for that. Thank you for taking time to experience everything. So Pyramid Valley, is for me also. Each time I come here, it's different. It's all energy,
Yes.
energy.
Yes.
Every facility. That's why Patriji named it the New Shambhala. Right, Pyramid Valley is called the New Shambhala. So full of energy. We
Yes.
have annually 300,000, close to 300,000 visitors. 3 lakh visitors come here. We teach meditation and anadana food, and then everything is taken care for visitors. So well experienced by you, and then it encourages us to do more things. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends.